All right. Good evening. It is February 4th. It is, what are we at? 5:31. We are calling the Finance and Facilities Committee to order. Let's begin with the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. So present tonight, we have myself, we have Rick Edelman, Micah Patello is excused. He'll be here later, is still at work, and Marie and Dan, as always, thank you. Do we have any movement on the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Wonderful. I will second. Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Close that out. All right. On to our new business and financial remarks, Marie.
Okay, so the current inflation rate as of December 2025 is 3.3%. The encumbrances, again, nothing crazy out there through January 30th. And then we have the operating cash balance for both TD Bank and the PDIP account of $4,690,141.52. The trust fund balances are still as of December 31st. That didn't change since our last meeting because we haven't received January balances yet.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to go over them or not because it's.
Rick,
I don't see any need.
Okay.
They
They didn't change it anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then we had two budget adjustments.
Okay.
Number
That's the second to open them.
58 and
Okay.
62. I actually have them here too if you wanted to see them.
Okay.
And 58 is to move money from in-state tuition line to out-of-state tuition line to cover cost for tuition for an out-of-district student of
Okay.
$243,243. And then we have number 62. And that is moving money from regular ed salaries, high school, to cover the cost of a contracted employee for the science teacher at the high school of $73,125.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve budget adjustment 58 and 62 as presented.
Second, any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Swayze Gym. I want to start a dialogue regarding Swayze Gym. And what we as a school district are going to do with Swayze Gym. And the reason why is because I'm at the point now where I have to start putting money into the gym if we're going to keep it for an extended period of time. The casters on the bleachers need to be replaced. That's $4,600. Front door, $20,000. Front windows, $5,000. We need to paint the interior, exteriors. We still have asbestos tile in that building that we should probably remove if we're going to be in there for a period of time. Parking lot needs to be repaved. The traffic or the parking lot lights need to be redone. So there's the list is pretty extensive. Currently, it costs us about $55,000 a year just to maintain that building as it is. My grievance, I guess, for lack of a better term, is that we as a school district only use it an eighth of the time. The other time it's all used by the town of Kingston for parks and recs. And there's no cost share between the town of Kingston or us as far as that goes. So, you know, I've already approached the town of Kingston Selectmen and said, hey, you know, are you willing to take this building on if we decide to pass it on per the contract? And they had no interest in taking the building over and maintaining it either. But like I said, I'm at a turning point here where if we're gonna keep that for a period of time, we need to start putting money into it. And that's what kind of scares me if in the future here, if we have plans in another year or two to release that building, then I really don't want to put this money into it. So I know it's a sore subject for a lot of people in town because it's part of the community, I understand, but it's also a big financial burden on us in the town here. But I want to start kind of getting the wheels in motion on that as far as how we're gonna handle this if we decide to keep it, and where we're gonna get the money to front some of these projects that need to be done on the building. The roof is in good condition, I will say that. The heating system's in good condition.
Great.
So we're good there as far as infrastructure goes.
Yeah.
So,
I have a lot of questions. Unless you wanna go
sure,
first.
yeah.
No, go ahead.
This is kind of, I just want to bring it up and
Yeah.
try and.
No, this is good.
It's the start of the
Yeah, and
discussion.
you may not have answers, right?
Yeah, yeah, right.
And some of that stuff I may should already know, but I apologize in advance. When is the lease? I know we got, it was leased back to us from, Chimber. How
Yes,
long?
I believe the lease is up next year on the building, so we got one more year as far as our obligation goes. Now, I've had some discussions with them already about the building, and I don't think there would be any heartburn if we were to terminate that early, because he's trying to sell some homes there, and with the big gym behind the homes, isn't a big selling point for him.
Yeah.
Does he want to tear it down?
That would be his
He would,
end goal,
I
is
would
he'll tear it
imagine.
down, yeah.
Cause
So-
his plan now is to build around.
Right.
Right, so, there was also a little bit of a discussion that he would subdivide that property and then give the property back to us with the gym. But that could be a while down the road too, and that's if he does that, because once again, he's still got a gym sitting in the back of his property, which isn't a good selling point if you're trying to sell homes in that area.
Mhm.
So a lot of it is just speculation right now. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't wanna buy it if there's kids running around there all the time at all hours of the night and everything, you know?
So there's a
So,
school across the street
Yeah.
yeah,
with
but
playground.
it's quiet after 4 o'clock,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So,
I hear you.
with the gym, you know, they're there on weekends and,
Oh, yeah.
and everything.
Yeah,
And
so
like I
that's,
said,
that's one of my other questions, because you said something that I wrote down. You said the town of Kingston Parks and Rec is really the only one using it, but I understand that it's used for baseball and baseball practice in there in the spring, and that's Newton and Kingston.
Basketball.
I don't know if that's Newton also.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
I-
All right.
Yeah, because I've been there.
Okay.
It's Newton kids as well, so.
Well, I mean, there's other organizations that aren't exactly part of the school district that
Yeah.
do use it. But when you look at the usage, we only use it about an eighth of the time compared to everybody else using that facility. And
You
with
mean
voting now
school
coming to the,
district?
Yeah,
yes,
school-
school
yeah.
district,
Right.
yes.
And what do we use it for? Because for the football, does the football team still get dressed there or no?
No, they really don't much anymore. If the weather is bad and they need some shelter or whatever, sometimes they'll use it, but they don't use it a
I
whole
thought they
lot.
used to get dressed there and then walk over to the field.
Yeah, but they have Chase Fieldhouse where they do that,
So,
so,
okay.
yeah, so they're not really using it a whole lot. We do use it, for some basketball there.
Yep.
And that would be a better question to direct towards our athletic director to find out what exactly we're using it for as far as school-related stuff. There's a lot of feeder programs, obviously, that we sponsor there. But, you know, it's one of those things that it does serve some of Newton, but Newton is bearing some of the cost of that gym. And if I was a taxpayer in Newton, I'd be like, really? Why am I tax money paying for a gym that we use a very small part of the time, you know, considering Kingston uses it the majority of the time. The other thing,
Well, when you say that, I don't know, I guess I don't understand that, right? So who in Kingston is using it more than Newton? Because the basketball I understood was both towns. The baseball is both towns.
mhm.
So who, like, who, like,
Well, I
what
mean, there's
part of Kingston is using
there's
it?
other organizations, like there's some clubs that use it for like the Christmas tree thing. They pay their portion of it for the use of it, but a lot of town organizations use the gym for things also. So they kind of have that ability because it's in Kingston, which is a nice perk, it really is.
Voting's not gonna happen there anymore.
Voting's not gonna happen there anymore,
Okay.
right? So as far as we know, it's not gonna happen there anymore. But I just kind of want to start the conversation because, like I said, for the amount of time, I guess my thought is, you know, $50,000 a year and just maintaining it buys a whole hell of a lot of court time at the YMCA with transportation. If you want to save money, you know,
Mhm.
and
And the reason they can't do it in our gym here? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know what the scheduling is like here for this gym.
Okay.
So, and like I said, that may be a question for the athletic director, if we want to bring him in.
Can I ask a question that's
Yeah.
directly linked to this? So before you go to your next one. So I think as part of the discussion, my, I guess, sort of homework back to you, Dan, is I would like to know, and not verbally, but like in writing.
Yeah.
So who's using it from the school?
Emailing Ryan right now. to
Great.
say who
So
and
who's
how
using it?
often.
How often? What clubs? What teams? And then, you know, really gather up what is the, and that's what we can gather. Then there's the, slightly harder to quantify will be all of the organizations that use, that pay to use it.
Right.
That include Kingston and Newton members.
Right.
So like my son plays basketball there as part of the Sanborn Basketball League. So even though that's not a district function, he's still a district kid utilizing that, right?
Right.
So I don't wanna.
Parks and through the parks
Yes,
department.
yeah.
Yeah,
And so you
as a
have,
feeder program.
right, so you have all these programs that although not directly are utilized by the district, are indirectly then feeding into our programs and an asset to the community, which we've had that conversation before. It's paid for by the tax dollars, and right, school funds, right? So if we're paying for it via our dollars, then it's tax dollars, and therefore it's an asset to the community members as well.
Right.
So I just want to really capture that sight picture of it's not just our kids, you know,
Yeah.
what is that?
Right.
What does that really look like?
Right.
Because maybe it's not worth X amount of thousands of dollars a year, or maybe it is, but before we make a decision on
Sure,
it.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let's capture some data.
Yeah. Yep.
And figure out where we're going with that. Because
Okay.
like I said, we're at a point. Yep. I'm gonna have to start putting money in the building if we're gonna be in it for.
And I agree with you, Dan. If we're gonna stay, then we need to do some things, because I don't want it to start looking ratty, and it's
Yeah.
starting
It's
to look
starting to look
ratty.
ratty.
Yep.
It really is. And
Yep.
I understand that.
Yep.
And that's what I don't want it to get out of control.
Exactly.
And if we're gonna do something, then we need to really start thinking about doing something on it this summer.
Sure.
You know?
And I want to be good brokers of our relationship with Chinburg too, because he's been a good and honest broker with us.
Right.
And
exactly.
so I don't want a piece of crap sitting next to his brand new,
Right.
Yeah.
you know.
Exactly.
We want to be good brokers, you know.
Right. Which, you know, if that's the case, then it probably means repaving and putting the street lights back up and
Well,
painting the exteriors and stuff like
I
that.
might want paving it's gonna have to repave. He's gonna have to pave that area for construction. There's houses all around that.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
No, he's only doing 4 homes. Yeah, that's the new plan.
Yeah, I haven't, then when did
Yeah,
that?
he's
get
only
approved?
doing 4 homes, and that's on the main road going to the seminary and going out the back, and they're gonna be right there along that road. That's
Oh, I
it.
haven't seen that then.
Yeah, so
When did that get approved?
it's been months.
Oh,
Yeah, so there's only
But
4
we
homes.
would, I know there would be a lot of great ideas that people would think that we want to do at the gym. And then there would be a prioritized list of what we're going to authorize for taxpayer funds to go
Right.
and do. I mean, it would be nice to do beautiful flower gardens, you know what I mean? But we're going to start with the rotting wood, the
Exactly.
paint chipping off the
You
walls.
got it.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
well, you've seen it. You know exactly
do.
where we're going with this.
I'm there every weekend.
So it does need
Okay.
help. So I just
It
want,
does.
I want to start that conversation. I'll gather some more data as far
Thank
as
you, Dan.
usage and everything. and
Okay.
we'll move from there.
Awesome.
But I
Thank
wanna
you.
plant
Shot
that
an
seed.
email to Ryan to ask him that specific question too.
Yeah, and I'll reach out for him tomorrow.
And who else would, because I feel like he's probably not the only one, especially since he's new to the district. Who else would have?
Well, Tina would have information because she gets all the requests for usage.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
we'll get with her, like all the
Yeah.
pickleball stuff and.
That's what I'm looking at right
Yeah.
there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they use it a lot.
Yeah.
Right, so yeah, I'm gonna definitely get with Ryan and Tina.
And how about the rec director, the Kingston rec director? Because a lot of those.
Well, those
programs-
requests go through facilities or through
Okay,
Ryan.
so they'll be captured through those two. Okay.
Exactly.
I don't
Right.
even know who the rec director is anymore.
It's someone new. I know.
It is,
I
yeah.
forgot their name,
Because
I'm
it was
sorry.
Paul.
It was, yeah.
So, okay, so there's that.
All right. We
The
got about
other
10
thing,
more minutes.
yeah, the other thing I wanted to talk about, I updated this sheet here.
Thank you.
And there's a 3rd page on there of, just so you know, which is on the capital improvement list and which should be on the capital list, in my opinion. But we take a look at it and we'll hash that out some other
I
time.
have a copy of that one, 'cause I never got
Absolutely.
one this time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
The other thing, since we're kind of moving quickly here, I wanted to bring up was, our lease at the SAU office, is going to be up next year
Yeah, there's 27.
through 27. So we're kind of at a point here, do we look for other properties? What is our goal? Do we stay there? Do we start working on a year by year lease until we figure out what's going on 3-4 years from here? But I just kind of wanted to get your feel, once this lease expires, do we want to go to them and say, can we do a year for year lease at that point?
Sure.
And he likes us as tenants. He wants to keep us there. So
Sure.
I don't think there's an issue with us staying there by any means, and he would love to keep us there. So I think that would probably be agreeable with all the parties if we just go with the yearly lease from here until, or maybe a 2-year lease from here until 2029, until we figure out what's going on with the district overall.
Sure.
Or something like that. So I just kind of want to put that on the table so you guys are aware of that as far as facilities go.
And when is it up again?
The end of
Next-
27.
Yeah, next year.
Okay,
June of 27.
okay.
No
So-
automatic renewal? Is
No.
that the lease?
No,
No, that's
yeah,
the
yeah,
lease,
you can have a
It
copy.
specifically says it ends in 27.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can keep that if you want to.
Yeah, I think I remember.
So,
And I think there's some, important things coming up that will help determine
Yeah.
where we go in the end of 27.
Yes,
But really good to know
Yeah,
that's sitting there. I'm glad that it's out where it is.
Yeah,
not
it-
6,
yeah, and and I know there's been some pressure
Right,
at moving
but
us
by
out of that.
December of this year,
Yep.
we're gonna need to know whether we're staying there,
Mhm.
because it'll have to be in the budget too, for the 27 budget.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think,
Right, yep,
26,
Yep.
8 budget.
I think with the new, once we seat the superintendent,
Yep.
I
Yes.
think
Budget
we'll
this
have,
year.
we'll have an idea of where
Yeah.
we're at
Sure,
by-
sure, absolutely.
It was just another one of those, like,
that's
Yep.
fantastic.
crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yep.
you can't think about it and it's
Yep.
gonna happen in 6 months.
Nope, I love
Yeah,
it.
because if we're gonna move buildings, we're already too late because
Yep.
it's a 2-year, 3-year project to do
Yep.
that.
Right.
And to find property in this area is
Sure.
And
next to
there's,
impossible.
yeah, there's a lot more people in there than I think they realize, plus all the servers are
Sure.
in that building.
Power
Yeah,
meters
Oh,
are-
yeah, not physical servers, computer servers.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, so,
got it. Okay.
okay.
Can we do the Siemens update?
Yes, so as you can see, there's workers here now working in this building. They started on Saturday. We do our walkthroughs next week of Memorial, so that should be wrapped up.
Great.
A little more to do at the Seacoast building. They're in this one head first now.
Mhm.
We're hoping in about 2 weeks, we can move over to Bakey and start doing that.
Okay.
So we're kind of leapfrogging schools based on material coming in.
Yep.
I've been getting a lot of good response now that
Mhm.
it's finishing up
Mhm.
about the lighting. At first, there was a lot of like, it's too bright. And it's like, be patient. There's dimmer switches and everything coming in yet, so.
Yeah, it's adjustable.
So I think we're getting a lot of good response and feedback from the lighting.
Oh, yeah. Once they can figure out how to play with them.
Right. Yeah, yeah, customizable.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So there's that. They're still working on the rooftop figures for that. One nice thing about going to LED is that it's reducing our power consumption.
Mhm.
So our generator here is limited to so many, how much power output.
Right.
Because we're decreasing our power here, if we're ever to go with units on the roof that want air condition or we want to do, a lot of that can be supplied through the generator if we have power outages too, which is a big plus.
Yeah.
But they're doing their engineering studies and everything right now. They have their engineers involved. I'm hoping within the next week or two, we get something more on that.
Well,
The
that's,
next meeting,
Yeah, the next
Yeah.
meeting, they said they'll have all the results of.
yeah. The engineering
The
and all that.
engineering and everything, they'll have some true figures for us.
Yep.
But the biggest thing for them, sorry, I
Yeah,
totally
no,
interrupted you.
that's fine.
The lead time is what we have to be.
Yeah.
Coherent, whatever the word
There's some
is.
drop dead dates that we
Yes.
need to
Yeah.
really follow if we're gonna do anything this summer.
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
So that's one of the things that they want to discuss at the next meeting. So I would like to invite them here to talk to us. So it's all on the table. We know exactly
Mhm.
what dates we're up against
Mhm.
if we're gonna do something this summer, because it is very structured, because it's, sometimes there's up to a 22-week lag time before we can even get these rooftops in.
Okay.
So there's some big decisions that will have to be made very quickly and very soon if we're moving into it this summer.
If
Part of the
piecemealing
project
it,
is,
right.
yeah, they're gonna triage everything on the roof too and figure out what is very vulnerable and
Great.
what is still good.
Okay.
So with that being said, we have a lot to talk about at the next meeting. I'm hoping if you gentlemen could agree to maybe starting the meeting at 4:30
When?
next school
The
board
18th.
meeting.
2:18.
Because-
Hold on.
I just don't, I
Dave, you're
just,
so demanding sometimes.
yeah, I know, but there's a lot to talk about, there really is.
And they'll have all of their reports and everything back by
Yeah.
then, so we'll have some concrete information.
And I just want to be clear, I don't like feeling like I am receiving information and expected to make a decision in the same night. That's not a good decision-making process.
Right, and it won't be like that,
Okay,
but it's gonna be one of those things you're gonna and I'll be honest with you, you're gonna receive information and we'll have to figure out what we're gonna do in the next couple of weeks for this summer.
and that's fine. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
they're
We
sitting
wanna get-
here that
Get the
night,
information.
No,
Oh, yeah,
I purposely asked him, I says, you give me a hard calendar of dates that we need to hit
Yeah.
in order to get this done by summer.
sure.
Yeah. we
For
asked
those
them
units that
for
we
a
need to
complete
get done.
Timeline.
Yeah, and I says, if we delay in any of them, the school board needs to know that, hey, it's
Yeah.
because of time or finances or whatever, which will push everything into summer 2027. If we push into summer 27, then we really need to make some decisions about it over the summer so they can start ordering stuff next fall
Yep.
for that summer. And I know money's the big issue and where do we get it and how do
Yep.
we finance it and everything else.
Sure.
But, I told them straight up, I says, we're pushing it with this summer, but until we get a feel for what is bad on the roof.
Yeah.
That will have a lot to do as far as the
Absolutely.
decisions we make.
Yep.
If they triage everything and say, yeah, we could probably get another, year out of these, then we're good. We got until summer 2027.
So you're saying, excuse me, February 18th, that's our next
Correct.
meeting?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm fine for 4:30.
Okay, so we'll just have to let Micah know.
So you're wanting, just to be clear, you're wanting an hour and a half meeting for that one?
Well, there'll be other stuff to go over. too,
Yeah,
not
we'll
just-
have her stuff
Right.
but I think allowing them a good 45 minutes, an hour for discussion, I think would be
Okay,
adequate because of the scale of the project, the engineering reports, everything coming in.
And you
okay,
won't feel rushed.
I just want to make sure they answer every one of our questions.
Okay.
And we're not going into this blind.
Okay.
If you agree.
that's fine. We'll let them
Okay.
know. Yep.
All right, next thing, moving along here. I'm sorry, I don't know what time we got left here.
Uh,
We really need to discuss facility usage as far as outside vendors, costs, how we categorize these different people, for instance, do we put the PTO in one group of people, the hockey boosters, football boosters, one group, where if they're using the facilities, there's a small fee for them to use the facilities. I know you guys asked me to say, get some numbers together as far as what we're paying in overtime for custodial work and everything. Unfortunately, our system does not track that way. I have no way of going back and seeing how that overtime is divided. So what I did is I put a little key together, and from now on, when the gentlemen do their time cards, if it's related to snow removal, then there's a code in snow removal. If it's related to athletics overtime, there's a code.
Mhm.
So we're gonna try and track it in-house as far as the overtime over the next year to see where our money's going
Yeah.
as far as overtime. But currently, we weren't able to track that. It'd be very difficult for us to do that.
Lisa is going back through all of this current year timesheets, and she's looking up all the overtime to see who worked what. And
Yeah.
she's got a big spreadsheet going on, so at least we know that.
But it's gonna be very difficult because if you have someone that worked 8 hours of overtime, now we gotta go back and figure out, well, what was going on in the school that day
Yeah.
to work
right.
overtime? And
Yeah,
I don't wanna spin my wheels
Yeah.
on our
Yeah.
manpower at the
Yep.
office if we can.
This
avoid
may
it.
sound super dumb, but, probably. The PTO uses the building,
Mhm.
right? They're a not-for-profit organization.
Right,
Most of it's volunteer.
right.
Mhm.
So is the question, are we going to start billing, like charging them for use of the
Well,
facility?
my question is how do we wanna do this? If they're using the building on a Saturday and I have to pay my guys overtime to come in and work on Saturday,
Sure.
I gotta eat that cost, and that's not fair to my budget if I'm spending a lot of money on overtime,
Sure,
and that's why I
yeah.
suggested maybe we have another line item
Yeah.
with a dollar amount set aside for that, and you asked me to get some numbers as far as overtime goes, and I'm answering you, I can't, because we don't have a way of
I
tracking
think
that.
that the information that you're getting and gathering is fantastic. And I think that's all information that should be presented to whoever we put
Yep.
in the seat of the superintendent.
Yep.
And we can talk about
Yeah,
next
Yeah.
steps.
but we kinda gotta get this going, because we're getting a lot of requests right now for the auditorium use, which is easy, because a lot of them are outside vendors
Yeah,
and stuff
good.
like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
Good.
We
awesome.
have a fee structure for that.
Yes, we
Okay.
absolutely
Yep.
do, so we're good there.
Okay,
The thing I'd like to bring up is, I'm serious, we are turning away people for the use of that auditorium. And
Why?
that auditorium could be a huge money
Why are we
maker for the
turning
school
people
district.
away?
Because it conflicts with other sporting events and, graduations and things like that.
Yeah.
But, and I'm gonna try and sell this, I really think if we're gonna really beef up our use on the auditorium,
Right.
we should really think about hiring someone part-time that schedules it and does all that, because Tina currently does that now. And she's up to her ears already in her daily tasking, and now we're asking her to be a wedding planner, and it just does not work. And I'm thinking if we're looking for extra income into the school district, it may be worth us hiring a part-time person that schedules the auditorium, the sporting events and everything, because it takes a lot off of Ryan's plate, Sally's plate, Tina's plate. And we have one clearinghouse where we can do the stuff logically and accurately, because so many times we schedule something and then we're calling another person saying, oh, we have to cancel because we have this going on, or there's just a lot of conflicts going on, because this is a building that people want to use.
Mm.
And, I really think we could make some really good money for the school district off the usage on this place, but we would have to invest a little money to do that as far as the salary goes.
Yep.
So I want to look at that, there's like park and rec. Yes, sir.
2 questions before we move any further, and we really do have to go.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have
and I'm
2
talking
minutes
very
normally.
quick. So.
Okay, so first thing is, other than the PTO, are there any other organizations that you are concerned about that don't fall under I shouldn't say concerned about, that don't fall under the fee structure that are causing overtime costs?
A lot of the booster clubs, that costs me a lot of overtime when they do their craft sales and all that stuff.
Question,
Yes, sir.
is it a different cost if they do it on a weeknight after school?
No,
Or-
there's no cost on a weeknight because my staff is here already.
Right, so I'm just gonna throw this out there very quickly. So maybe there's a possibility before, as we're trying to gather all this data, that we communicate that clearly to those organizations. You are not for profit, you are supporting the district.
Right.
However, there's an incurred cost when you come on the weekend. So if you're gonna come on the weekend, there's gonna have to be a new agreement that happens.
Yes.
That we share that
Yes.
cost.
Mhm.
However, if you come Monday through Friday, we already have staff, so there's no cost.
Right.
And that might just help shape where they meet and when they meet.
And they are aware of that now, so,
Okay.
but they do know that, because we've explained that to them, that, hey, it's a weekend, we have to hire people to come in and
Yeah.
open up and.
Right, but now there would be the added, and
Yes.
we're gonna have to share that cost, because we don't wanna charge them, right? Because they're benefiting they're benefiting the district,
Absolutely.
and they're volunteers,
Yes.
right?
No, believe me, I'm not.
Yeah.
Bad mouthing the
No,
organizations,
I
all
get
it's
that,
great.
I get that.
But it costs me and
Totally
facilities a lot of money to do this. And that's where I'm fighting a budget, believe me, every day.
Yeah.
And this makes it more complicated. Another good example is, we have,
Sorry, it's
the
almost 6.
Yeah, we got it.
paddleball, whatever that is.
Yes,
The town charges them $60 a person to play paddleball, but we don't get a penny of it. The town gets it when they're using our facilities. Well, there
Right.
needs to be a different fee structure in place.
Yeah.
Because the town's making all the money on it
Yeah.
and we don't get anything. And I gotta pay my custodians overtime to clean it, So
Thank you,
it's
Dan.
things like that we need to really
Yeah.
sit down and hash out, and we can never do it at these meetings because of time, so.
well, we're gonna have a long one coming up, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, it is now 6 o'clock, and the Finance and Facilities will adjourn. Thank you.